You're a veteran or active duty service member looking to buy a home in the Wesley Chapel area, and you don't know where to begin with your VA loan benefits. Maybe you're feeling overwhelmed by the process or worried about the hidden costs. And do you want to find the perfect house without breaking the bank? Well, in today's video, I'm going to show you a step-by-step process on how to use the VA loan here in the Wesley Chapel area, so you can experience financial peace of mind, a smooth home buying journey without the unnecessary confusion or stress. Welcome back to the channel where we help families live like locals in the Tampa Bay area. My name's Sydney. Let's get started. Some of the benefits of living in Wesley Chapel as a military family is the proximity to MacDill Air Force Base and the Coast Guard air stations. You know, it's about a 45 to 50-minute commute. With that said, you get more bang for your buck in housing. You have the suburbs, neighborhoods, you have better school districts and amenities. You also have, connected communities here. So like once you get home, you're home. You can take your golf cart and go to the grocery store, the park. You have all of those sports complexes, the dance studios, all of that within a short distance. And so it really does help military families being able to experience all of those items within a close range. Even though your commute may be 45 to 50 minutes with traffic, they have created overpass, different ways to get onto the freeway to make your commute less. And it honestly just depends on when your work schedule is. I know that a lot of military members will go in prior to the traffic and leave before the afternoon traffic, or vice versa, they leave later and get home later. It's nice because typically the military commands will work with you on your commute times. Okay, so the VA loan is a mortgage option for active duty military members or veterans. It's backed by the Department of Veteran Affairs. Some of the great things about the VA loan is that there is no down payment, very competitive interest rates, and there's no penalty for paying it back sooner than when the loan is completed. The VA loan also doesn't require PMI, which can be anywhere from $200 to $500, and that's considered private mortgage insurance. Also, the credit needed for a VA loan is typically around 620, but there are some lenders that will go down to 580. So it does open the door for military members and veterans to be able to utilize the home buying advantage. Let me walk you through a step-by-step guide to the VA loan. Step 1, confirm your eligibility. To confirm your eligibility, you're going to want to get the COE, your Certificate of Eligibility, which can be done through the Veterans Administration. Step 2, find a loan specialist. It's very important to work with an experienced VA loan specialist. And how you can do that is ask a couple questions. You can ask them how many VA loans do they do a year. You can ask them if they're up to date on the current standards for the VA loan. So ask them about the pest inspection or the CL 100, if they know who pays for that. And then you can also ask them what the competitive interest rates are and how much closing costs you'll need to close the VA loan. Step 3, determine your budget. What are you comfortable paying? Yes, if you're active duty, you do get a BAH or BAS, a housing allowance. Do you want your mortgage to be over that, or do you want it to be under that to also allow room for your utilities, sewer, trash, all of those items as well? When you're looking at your budget and you're looking at your mortgage, if you're working with a good VA loan specialist, they will also estimate your taxes, your HOA, your CDD, all of that within your mortgage payment, so that you aren't just looking at the interest and your payment. You're also including all of those other items in your mortgage payment. Make sure that it's a comfortable number, and you need to buy a home within a payment that you're comfortable with, that you're okay with for the next 3 to 4 years until you're out of here or get PCS orders somewhere else. Step 4, house hunting in Wesley Chapel. When you're house hunting in the Wesley Chapel area, you should look in neighborhoods that have small CDD fees, that have HOAs of minimal, and whether or not they're still building out in the neighborhood or if it's a completely built out neighborhood. And you want to look at school districts and commute times of how far you are from the freeway to get to and from work. When you're house hunting in the Wesley Chapel area, a huge benefit would be to find a realtor that works within the VA loan and works with a ton of military families. The average realtor does 1.7 deals a month. I would definitely look and see how many VA loans they work with and military people they work with, because it does matter, because you're not putting money down. So you need a realtor that will get you a home that will also help get incentives for your closing costs and knows the earnest money deposit and all of those things. Our team, we do 8 to 10 deals a month, and 9.5 of them are military affiliated or veterans. We did 106 homes last year. 105 of them are all VA loans and military members. So it's our niche. And I would definitely encourage you to interview multiple agents and find out who's the best fit for you, but also who knows the military inside and out. Speaking of choosing the perfect neighborhood, I've created a free Wesley Chapel neighborhood guide specifically for military families. It covers this topic in way more detail and provides way more considerations for your move. I put a link in the description box below if you'd like to check it out. Step 5, submitting your offer. When using the VA loan, you're going to need to be competitive in your offer. And with that said, you're going to have to look at your price point, because you're going to ask for closing costs. And with that, what I mean when I say that is that, say the house is $300,000, but you need $20,000 in closing costs. You're technically offering that seller $280,000. So if that seller does not want to give $20,000 in closing costs, you have to restructure your offer. Meaning, let's not ask for a full 20 that way. What you'll do is you'll ask for $310,000 and still ask for 20, but that brings it back up to $290. So they're only giving an extra 10 grand out of their pocket. Because remember, sellers are giving their equity made to you to use for your closing costs. So it's important to look at your price point and your closing costs to be able to have a competitive offer. Also, earnest money, it's like promise money. Typically speaking, you see 1% given as earnest money. However, with the VA loan, we typically see a lot less. And so it's important to know what that is when making a competitive offer. Negotiating with sellers that don't know a lot about VA loans, you can have your realtor and your lender reach out to the listing agent to tell them about you and your loan, and just how strong you may be. Now, you won't talk about your finances or your credit or any of that, but it's all what we do is we encourage our lender to call the listing agent and say, hey, our buyers are super qualified. We can get this loan closed in 21 to 30 days. VA loans close at a higher rate than any other loan. And so just being upfront and knowledgeable and educating people on the VA loan is important. Step 6, close on your home. There are a couple of VA loan specific items that happen within your loan process. You have to have it appraised. What that means is that the VA will only fund up to the appraisal amount. And so say the house is $300,000, the lender sends out an appraiser who's a third party. So no one knows who's the appraisal. Who is going to do the appraisal. You pay for it as the VA buyer, and then they go out and appraise the home, and they typically appraise the home the last 6 months of closings in that neighborhood. And what they do, it's typically within a 0.25 miles from that house. Now, if you're buying in the suburbs, they will only pull houses from that neighborhood, and that they will base their assessment and the appraisal on homes that are similar to the one that you've put an offer on that have closed within the last 6 months. And the VA loan will only pay up to what they appraise it for. So say that they appraise it over, awesome. That means instant equity for you. If they appraise it under, it means that we have to go back to the seller and negotiate. Whether we cut some of our closing costs, maybe the seller is just willing to go down to that appraisal price, maybe it's only $5,000. Those are things that it opens up the door for renegotiations, but that is a VA loan specific item, along with a pest inspection. So the VA loan does not want you to have a home that is full of termites or pests or bugs, so that they do have to pass a pest inspection. A lot of the times in the South, it is about the wood rot on the home. And typically speaking, a lot of the sellers will just fix that. That's a common occurrence here. And so you want to just make sure that you get a clean CL 100 or pest inspection, termite inspection prior to close. And those items will have to be to the lender and for you to be able to close. To ensure a smooth closing, you want to make sure that if you have agreed on repairs, that those are done. So we always encourage a re-inspection prior to closing, probably 3 to 5 days, depending on what your repair addendum or inspection period is like. Always get a re-inspection. Make sure you have invoices for repairs. Make sure that you have the home cleaned prior, whether the listing agent is doing it or the buyer's agent is doing it. Make sure the home is clean prior to move out. Do a final walkthrough. If you're not local to the area, make sure that your realtor does a video of the entire home and looks at everything for you. Make sure you do a final walkthrough prior to closing. Which reminds me, make sure to watch this video next. I go deeper into the topics that we just discussed. Click on the video that's on the screen and I'll see you there.